Hey, how's it going?
I'm Rob.
And this is Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, a new turn-based RPG that I've been excited to try. What you're about to watch is only my first hour in this adventure, with more to come next week. I'd talk more about the game, but I've somehow managed to avoid spoilers up to this point. So please enjoy the video, as I learn some French. The game starts by showing me a city called Lumiere. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable about the world, but I do recognize that. That's the Eiffel Tower. But it's wrong. It's all corrupted and melted over. A severely altered, yet still recognizable structure like that helps me to immediately understand that this place is from Earth. But what happened? Why is the Eiffel Tower melted? And why is this tower here with the number 34 on it? Looks ominous. Take that. Just missed. We play as Gustave. Not much is revealed in this cutscene other than I have a flower for someone I know named Sophie. And Mael finds me here to tell me to hurry up with it already, before they wither. So I'm off, to find Sophie and give her this flower that I almost forgot on this bench nearby. Not so fast, Sophie can wait. Now is the time for studying. I read up on all the various status effects that can be inflicted and they're pretty neat. Oh, that's inverted sick. Inverted makes you allergic to healing. I'm also excited to build one of my party members to specialize in buffing and debuffing, like I had Yuffie in Final Fantasy VII be my haste all and regen all support character at one point. And my main character might be made into a break bar farmer, and therefore a stunning machine for bigger bosses. It was at this time I noticed that my graphics were on low, so excuse me as I fix that. Not sure why Epic wasn't on to begin with. Oh my god, I'm headless. Once I loaded in, I followed Mael past the grappling points, and suddenly she stopped and wanted to fight.
A little jewel.
Let's fight.
No.
Yes.
Come on, it'll loosen you up.
Fight the little girl.
You can't go and see Sophie.
She'll never get better unless she practices. Come on. Cue the tutorial. Here's a quick rundown of what it says. You gain AP every turn. One way to gain more AP is to perform a basic attack. When your enemy attacks, if you're not familiar with their attack patterns, you can perform a dodge, which has a period of invulnerability to avoid the damage. Your AP is spent to perform skills, which have a wide variety of effects. Gustave's quirk seems to be focused on performing actions to fill his overcharge meter, for one big attack once the condition is met. All skills seem to have quicktime events, or QTEs, that increases the damage or effect of a skill if you time the buttons right. Once you're comfortable with the enemy attack patterns and getting perfect dodges, the name of the game is parrying. Parrying itself does three things. Negates all damage with a smaller invulnerability window than dodging. Each successful parry awards you with an AP, and if you successfully parry every attack, you perform a strong counterattack back at the enemy. Gustave also builds his overcharge meter with each successful parry too, but this might just be something specific to him. But once it's full, it hurts. Victory! I've beaten the little girl. Kills! Once Mael has been dealt with, she leads me the rest of the way back to the city streets, where I meet Sophie and give her my flower. This next part leading up to the docks explains the story up to this point, from the fracture that happened over a half a century ago, to the relationship between Gustave and Sophie. So let me try to shuffle these around so they make sense. 67 years ago, something happened that threw the city of Lumiere into the middle of the ocean. And off in the distance stood a tower with the number 100 on it. The reason we see 34 today is because of that giant woman who sleeps next to the tower. The Paintress, we started to call her, would wake up on the same day each year to decrease the number on the tower by 1. Each time the number decreases, every citizen of Lumiere who is the same age as the new number, or older, crumbles away and dies. The ceremony that Lumiere holds on this day every year is to say goodbye to every citizen who is about to gommage, or erase. As a result of this strange and terrible magic, once the number turns to 33, the oldest possible person in the city will only be the age of 32. But the people of Lumiere don't just sit back and accept this fate, no. Each year the Paintress lowers the number is just another year the previous expedition must have failed in their quest to stop the Paintress. Once the threat was realized 67 years ago, the bravest of Lumiere cast off from their harbor on Expedition 0. Expedition 0 aimed to take care of the Paintress before she could claim any more lives, but what they discovered past their docks was a world that was unfamiliar and confusing, filled with hostile creatures and magic. But some survivors must have made it home to pass along information, and the city started to develop and master this new form of magic, because it became very clear that just dealing with the Paintress is going to be miles more difficult than initially assumed. So each year they hold the Expedition Festival, a tradition of sending off a new expedition after each Gamache ceremony. Expedition 99, Expedition 98, Expedition 97. 67 expeditions have cast off with 3 major goals in mind. Follow in the footsteps of the previous expeditions, forge a path ahead for everyone after you, stop the Paintress. And the citizens of Lumiere that remain behind also have to keep their spirits high as best they can, struggling to remain optimistic that this year the expedition succeeds, while also considering it their duty to keep having children so that the expeditions years after they're gone can have the best shot at success. And this duty is where Gustave and Sophie didn't see eye to eye. When they were together, Gustave wanted to remain optimistic about the expeditions, where Sophie just couldn't. There was no way she would bring a child into such a world. This world, where their child would only be born just to become an orphan, like everyone else in this city. Though they mutually went their separate ways, they never faulted the other for thinking differently, and couldn't stop loving each other. Which brings me to today. After giving Sophie my flower, I walk her down to the harbor where tonight's Gamache ceremony is happening. Now we can start running around as Sophie, and switching characters is instant too. I always like when I can pick my favorite party member and just walk around as them. Check the garbage. I gotta check every single garbage during this campaign. On the way down, I discovered the jumping and climbing mechanics while on the hunt for my first floor loot, which was this game's currency. Chroma? And a little farther down, I got my first side quest to give this man's son a uniform he sewed. I can find jewels at the Expedition Festival that takes place after the Gamache ceremony. I also discovered a lady who doesn't think this year's expedition will be any different. So to convince her that I'll be the difference that makes us succeed this year, I'm going to fight this lady. Oh. I beat up an inanimate object. After proving my worth, she gives us an item called Color of Lumina. These allow a character to memorize more passive skills later down the road. A painter was also looking for some inspiration for his painting, so we danced for him by practicing some dodges, and he was able to paint a beautiful masterpiece. He also thanked us with a recoat, an item that will reset my skill or stat points down the road. Almost there, but before I get to the harbor... What on earth are you? Why did I come over here?
Gustave, help!
Protect Sophie! Ah yes, I haven't had a proper tutorial on breaking yet. Fill the white meter until the diamond appears, use any skill that uses the same diamond and specifies that it can break, win a free turn to beat up the enemy while they're stunned. Upon defeating the menacing mime, I received the Lumiere record so I can play the city's music later at my camp. Once we reach the harbor, I change into my expedition uniform that Sophie altered for me. And in the next moments, we see... the Paintress wakes up. Changes the number to 33. And people around us start to gamache. At this time, I am 32, and can live another year to give everything I have into this year's expedition. I'll do everything I can to make sure that this gamache is the last. But my beloved Sophie,
I'm here.
after the ceremony starts the Expedition Festival. Before we set sail, sadness and sorrows are drank away by some. Others are just happy that there's more people this year than last. I find Jules and give him the uniform his father sewed for him, but Jules doesn't expect to join any expedition himself, so he lets us take it instead. Other children at the festival gave me a journal to write in so I could tell them everything about what happened when I return. Loon, an interesting member of this year's expedition, found a way to determine where Expedition Zero first made landfall 67 years ago. She came up with the idea that Expedition 33 should follow in their footsteps, as it's their best chance of success. This plan of Lume's and my Lumina Converter are the reasons Expedition 33 are able to have so much hope for success. Maëlle is still only a teenager, and despite having 9 whole years before her Gamage, she's joining Expedition 33 with me. How cute. Hopefully I taught her what she needs to know to become an asset to the expedition. But to make sure, we have one more fight. No tutorials, just win. I didn't know it at this time, but each shot out of my aim skill cost 1 AP and does not generate any, leaving my only options at 0 AP to be a basic attack or using an item. After confirming Maëlle's skills, she gives me a token, and my sister Emma shows up looking for me so we can talk. And talk we shall, but first I go collect the third and final token from Anton, and use all 3 tokens on an old key I can't use right now, the new hairdo for myself that I immediately reverse, and look at the red version of the expedition uniform I got from Jules, and the third token was used to get a weird Pictos that I also can't use right now. Okay, off to see my sister. Emma is the chief counselor and doesn't agree with me going on the expedition. She sees the expedition as nothing more than a morale boost, a sacrifice of sorts, something to keep hope alive while she helps to prepare the city for the people she calls the last generation. But she knows she can't stop me and tells me to watch over Maëlle. As the festival comes to an end, our sister gives one final speech to send us off.
Expeditioners. The Sword of Lumière. We honor your dedication. We do not take for granted that you dedicate your final year of life to keeping hope alive for all of Lumière. Some of you are leaving to change the world. Others to discover the secrets of our universe. Some to protect loved ones. Others to find meaning in our all-too-short lives. As you sail into the unknown, know that Lumière stands with you. When you battle the Paintress, know that Lumière fights with you. Let the stones of her monolith crumble. Let her body lie at the end of the world. Unable to paint another death, let the stars no longer be hidden by her oppressive silhouette. Let the world once again watch the sun rise without the shadow of her cursed figure. May the wind of renewal take you to the ends of the earth. Tomorrow comes. Thanks to you, Expedition 33.
Thank you for watching my video to the end. No, really, that means a lot. And to prove you're still here, type "Fight the little girl" in the comments below. Alright, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next hour.